Hello y'all and welcome to another battle report. This is an interesting one because we swap armies. So my opponent using my Bretonnian and I will be using his Skaven. So a funny story that happened before the game. We basically should he downloaded the Bretonnian army book and actually got the fan-made army project book, which is a really good book, but the point cost and everything in that one is wrong. So he come to the table having done the counting all wrong, so we basically just added some knights to some units and gave some extra magic item for him. So over to his list then. As you can see to the left he have a Treb and 3 Pagan Knight who vanguarded over there. Then he have a unit of Realm, another unit of Realm, one of those have the Flaming Banner, and another unit of Realm with the Bretonia Lord, Heroic Blow and 4 upward, and BSB with the Reroll Fail Charges banner, and a Paladin with the Killing Blow Lance and the Virtue of Just. Then you have another unit of Realm with his Ford of Life in it. He got Dwellers, Regrowth, Throne of Vines, and Flesh to Stone. He basically just rolled 4 6s, so he could just choose whatever spells he want. The wizard have 4 upward and a scroll. And then you have 9 Grey Knights with the War Banner. Well, for this Skaven player, no, for myself even, I'm the Skaven player for this time. Here we go, the Skaven list. There was some trouble doing the list build for the Skaven. Also, I started by sending him a list of things I wanted. He did not have it. He did not have the Gut Runners. He did not have enough Engineer for me. He did not have enough Rat Darts. But it all ended out with a pretty good, solid Skaven list in my counting. The problem was when he showed up, he have gotten 50 slave and my clan rat bunker. So I do some changes on the spot and upgrade 1 slave unit to a clan rat unit. Added a warlord with the Fellbait. And that's it. So the armor list, I have far away 2 Doom Wheels and a Rat Dart. It will show it later, it was a stupid deployment, but anyway, that's how I did the deployment. On the hill I have 5 missiles, just because when you do this Skaven armor list, you pretty much run out of good things to take, and then you just have to fill out points because everything is so cheap in Skaven. The thing I wanted just ended when I was at 200 points, so I put in a Screaming Bell and missiles and some weapon team and stuff like that. Then I have and I think it's 50 slaves with the engineer, 50 Stormworming with the Warlord and an Engineer with Doom Rocket, 50 Clan Rats with Flamethrower and Plague Mortar next to it, and in the Clan Rat I have the Bell and the Grazier and the BSB, and an Engineer with the Brass Orb, 50 more Slaves, 2 Warp Lightning Cannons and 2 more Rat Darts. So the Skaven got their first turn because the Bretonnian prayed, and you will see why it was a pretty stupid idea to put the Doom Wheel on the same side. My thinking was I will push one forward and I will push the other one into the Rat Dart, and the Rat Dart will run away and then I can shoot at that, but that's not how it worked. You are not just shooting at forward the closest unit, you are shooting from the base the closest unit. So actually it turns out here that the Doom Wheel in front closest unit was my other Doom Wheel, and the Doom Wheel Down on this page, closest unit was the Yesiles. Luckily for myself, I passed both my leadership 7 leadership, so it didn't end up matter in the first place, but I lost a red dart there who will run off the board next turn. Well, here I just pushes up my plague mortar within range of his general's lance to shoot at it, but otherwise I did not move at all. Well, in magic phase I get out Howling Warpit, which stop his Pegnas from flying, but they have movement 8 anyway, so they move pretty fast. And shooting didn't do much. I think I misfired with both my Warp Lightning Cannon. One of them shoot randomly into my slaves and killing half a dozen of them. And yeah, Wind Mortar hit his knights, killing 3 or 4 of them, which was good. But otherwise, yeah, not a lot of things happened. The Bellorang killed some of my clan rats, doing 2 wounds to his treb, but that's all. Well, this picture shows Skaven for second turn's first movement, and not much moved. I pushed backward some units, but yeah, some small chaff unit of rat dodge run up. The Doomwheel rolls forward to one to take out his treb. The other one rolls a little bit too far and gets close to his knight, and the flamethrower moves up and the mortar goes back down, and yeah, that's the Skaven movement. Magic I didn't get much of, and in the shooting phase it started with my plague mortar blowing itself up, and the flamethrower in front just falls short of his unit. One of my Warp Lightning Cannon hit as his mage's lance and pretty much reduces that one to nothing. Well, my Doom Wheel. One saps one of the Realm Knights, and the other Doom Wheel rolls a misfire, and I roll, I think, 5 is the one, and that I will move random direction, and I slams into his knights. I didn't do anything to him. He passes his armor ward save, and he breaks me, and he runs. Pursued, but didn't catch me quite. For his turn, he hits Knights of the Realm, charges my Fleeing Doomwheel, and you can see in the bottom of this picture that was my Fleeing roll, and for a Skaven roll 111 on Fleeing, that would be a big disappointment for their Rat God. And my other Doomwheel chose to flee, and he managed to catches me. So on this flank, he have run down to Doomwheel, and I have done nothing to him at all. In the middle, he charges my Rat Dart, and he will make short work of them. And my dice notice that I'm rolling against my Bretonian, and they get pissed off at me, so I roll 111 for the first dispel attempt. He gets off Throne of Vines. I'm not pretty low roll, I think 7 or 8. I throw 3 dice, but no. So we pretty much get off a good magic phase with both Flesh to Stone and Regrowth on his Damsel Prophetess Bunker. His trap kill my Warp Lightning Cannon. So for Skaven turn 3, my Skaven Sleep charges his Grave Knights, and I throw up my flamethrower to shove up his Grave Knight. No, his Realm Knight. On this flank, my Skaven Slave charges his realm knights, and they were in the flank, so he wisely decided to flee. And fortunately for him, his other realm knights passes their panic check, and that's it for movement. Well, in magic phase the bell rang and his trap died. Well, in magic phase the only spell I get off is Skitterleap, and I take my engineer out of the slave unit so I can shoot into that combat and put it in front of his general's lands, and I use the brass orb, I use the doom rocket on them, and kill everything except for the banner and the champion, and the flamethrower misfire and it get off a shot, and I think the warp lightning cannon roll a 2 on its strength and didn't do anything to that realm lands. I actually wounded the general, but he rolled a 4 upward. So yeah, that's shooting. And in combat this was a big grind between the Grey Knights. The Grey Knights killing like 5 of my Skaven slaves. Skaven slaves doesn't do anything to him, and we will stick around for the rest of the game in that combat. So in the Bretonian turn 3, his realm knights rally on this flank, and his other realm knights failed a swift reform test and just reformed like that. So this was a very proud moment for me in Skaven. I pull off a double redirect maneuver. You can see out of this picture, I first have an engineer, he have to charge, and he charged him. I fled with that, and then the flamethrower were in the way, so we have to charge that, and the flamethrower bounces over my slave unit, and he ended up, as you can see him there, in a perfect position for my stormworming next turn to flank charge him. So it all ended up for me being really good. For him, not so much. We talk after this game that I think this was his greatest mistake. It was a hard situation, but what I would have done was charge out my general and heroic killing blow that screaming bell, and then everything would just crumble. But anyway, his Lord's lands ended up as you can see it, and yeah, that was it. His peg knights also move up to charge down my warp lightning cannon next turn. And here is where my fleeing warlock engineer ended up after he ran like crazy through all of my line. Well, unfortunately this picture were really blurry, but what I did was my stormworming charged in his lodge lands, and he thought we were over 25% because of all the character, so he chose to flee, but then he realized he could not rally unless they rolls a double 1, so they will run off the board. I redirect and roll pretty high and get into his wizard's lands. On this flank my Yesiles go in hiding behind that hill, and my slaves pivot to face off his knights. Well, on this side my cannon misfire and spins around, which is hilarious with Skaven because they have so many tables in their army book. You just have to check it all the time. And during this game I was looking so much in the Skaven army book, it was ridiculous because everything rolls misfire all the time, and every time you have to look into a chart that's not easy to memorize, but it's totally random stuff happening. So a lot of random hilarious shit happened in the Skaven list, which is funny. You can see in this picture that my stormworming kill everything except the champion in his Realm Knights units, and they run away, and they will keep on running for the whole game off the board actually, and the Grey Knights and Skaven's Life still sitting there grinding. For his turn 4, his Peg Knight charges down my Warp Lightning Cannon, but I get off Howling Warpgate in the previous turn, or if I used the Storm Banner this turn, I don't remember. Anyways, he gets the charge anyway, but he takes 1 dangerous rain test and loses a wound, and the rat crew actually managed to kill a Peg Knight, so that was hilarious. Now, you may wonder why the hell the building is turned upside down, and if you're not familiar with this Skaven, one of their Screaming Bell result is destroy a building on a 4+, and that was exactly what happened here. The bell rang, I think I rolled pretty high, 15 or something like that, and the building just collapsed. Yep, awesome. Well, the final thing that happened in this game was on his turn 5, he flank charged my Stormwormin, my Lord goes up, he have lost 2 wounds from the Fell Blades, which we just reminded now that you have to roll for every turn, and we roll 4 dice and I roll 2 2s, so 2 wounds on him. He goes up, he kills 4 knights or something, I think, like that. He then strikes at my general and kill him, but I win this combat, he breaks and I run him down, and that's when he decided to forfeit the game, because my Bell unit were now in position to flank charge his Grail Knights, and my Stormworming was in position of charging his other remaining Realm Knights. So it ended up being a big victory for the Skaven, and yeah, I think this was very interesting to change armies, because now I get to see how to play this game, and how Skaven player only temporarily just think and react to stuff like that, and knowing the feeling, seeing the Bretlands in front of you gives more understanding of how your opponent will react to your lances. So this was a very interesting game. My opponent also told me that it was very interesting trying out Bretonia, because Bretonia is like a very odd army, a very special playstyle. So it was fun. I would like to hear your comments and thoughts about this bad trap, and especially if you're a Skaven player, tell me how I did. Did you think I played good, or of course I did some mistake, but point it out for me. It's not as obvious for me as it is for you who know this army. Also, what do you think about my opponent's Brett? So that's it. If you like, feel free to subscribe to my channel and see more quality content from my side, and like this video. Have a nice one.